Imagine this. You've just grabbed your morning coffee. You log in and bam, an urgent email from a senior partner. She needs a full performance analysis for a major client meeting, and it's happening in just a few hours. The pressure is on. So what do? Well, you and I, we're going to crack this case together. Let's jump right in. Okay, so here it is straight from the source. This is the core of our mission. The partner wants us to analyze a new proposal, and she's given us two specific lenses to look through. First, how does the company look from the outside? That's its external efficiency. And second, how smoothly are things running on the inside? That's its internal efficiency. Got it. Crystal clear. All right, to get this done fast and right, we need a solid plan. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll quickly get up to speed on the partner's request. Then we'll set up a framework, super important. From there, we'll tackle the two big pieces, external effectiveness and internal efficiency. After that, we'll draft the report and wrap it all up with a quick-fire recap of the key formulas. Let's do this. So, first things first, who are we even talking about? Our client is Precision Engineering Ltd, or PEL for short. Now, these guys are in a really tough business. They make high-performance engine parts for the automotive and even the motorsport industry. Formula One, that kind of thing. So when we think about them, we have to think precision, speed, and zero room for error. Okay, before we dive into a single spreadsheet, and trust me, there are a lot of numbers, we need a structure. This is what separates the pros from the amateurs. You don't just start swimming in data, you build a framework first. It's like having a blueprint before you build a house. It guides every single step and makes sure our final story is clear and powerful. You open the data file and, whoa, it's a wall of numbers. Financials, operational stats, forecasts. It can feel a little overwhelming, right? So the big question is, where on earth do we begin? How do we find the signal in all this noise? Well, the answer is to use the right tool for the job. And our tool today is the performance pyramid. Now, this thing is perfect for our situation. Why? Because it's designed specifically to build a bridge between the big picture company strategy, the stuff the CEO talks about, and the day-to-day actions on the factory floor. It makes sure everything is connected. So how does it work? Well, it's got two really important flows. Think of it like a two-way street. First, you have a top-down flow, where the company's big vision cascades down into smaller, specific goals for every team. And then you have a bottom-up flow, where all the raw data from the ground level flows back up, telling the leadership whether or not the plan is actually working. And here is the magic moment. This is where it all clicks into place. The pyramid is split into two sides that perfectly match our partner's request. The left side is all about the outside world, external effectiveness. It's focused on the customer, and we mostly use non-financial things to measure it, like product quality. The right side is all about the inside, internal efficiency. It's focused on processes, and we mainly use financial numbers like cost of waste. See, we have our framework. All right, time to roll up our sleeves. Let's start with that left side of the pyramid and dig into PAL's external effectiveness. To put it simply, if you're a customer of PAL, what's your experience actually like? In an industry this demanding, customer satisfaction really boils down to two huge things. Number one, is the product flawless? That's quality. And number two, did it show up exactly when you said it would? That's delivery. Get those two right, and you've got a happy customer. Let's see how PEL is doing. Okay, let's get into the forecast data. To really measure quality from the customer's point of view, the best metric we have here is the return rate. I've highlighted it. This tells us what percentage of products get sent back because something was wrong. Obviously, the lower this number, the better. And when you chart it out, wow, the story is crystal clear. PEL is on track to slash its customer returns from 2% all the way down to just 0.5%. That is a massive 75% reduction. It's a huge win and a clear signal that their quality is getting much, much better. Now for that second piece of the puzzle, delivery. Is the product getting there on time? Well, the data shows that the percentage of sales that meet their planned delivery date is projected to climb from 85% all the way up to a really solid 95%. More reliable delivery means happier customers who trust you. That's a huge asset. Okay, so we've confirmed that from the outside looking in, PEL is really stepping up its game. Now, let's switch gears and look at the right side of the pyramid, internal efficiency. How well is the factory actually running? Are they making the most of their resources? When you're looking for efficiency, one of the best places to start is waste, because every scrapped part is just money thrown in the trash. So let's zoom in on this number right here, the percentage of components that get scrapped during production. And the improvement here is it's dramatic. They are forecasting their scrap rate to fall from a pretty high 6.5% all the way down to just 1.5%. That translates directly to the bottom line. It means lower costs, higher profits, and a way more efficient process. Now, what about their most expensive assets, the machines? Back in 2022, those machines were just sitting there, doing nothing, 9% of the time. But look at the forecast for 2024. That idle time is set to be almost completely eliminated, dropping to just 1%. That means their pricey equipment will be humming along, being productive 99% of the time. That is a massive jump in productivity. All right, we've done the hard work. We analyzed both sides of the pyramid, and the data tells a really clear story of improvement. Now comes the most critical step, pulling it all together into a short, sharp report that the partner can walk into our meeting with. So for external effectiveness, here's our story. It's simple and powerful. 1. Quality is surging, and we can prove it with that amazing 75% drop in customer returns. This means a better reputation. 2. Delivery is becoming rock solid, hitting a 95% on-time rate. The key takeaway for the partner is that PEL is transforming into a much more reliable and trustworthy supplier. And for internal efficiency, the headline is that PEL is becoming a leaner, faster, meaner operation. We'll tell the partner that waste is plummeting, which directly helps their profit margins. Their expensive machines are now working at 99% capacity, which maximizes their return on investment. And on top of all that, they're getting products out the door a full week faster. They are simply doing more with less. Fantastic, we've cracked the case. Now, just to make sure these key ideas really stick and so you can use them in your own work, let's do a quick formula flash recap of the key performance indicators, the KPIs that we used to solve this. Here's the toolkit. For customer return percentage, the formula is simply the number of units returned divided by the total number of units delivered. For on-time delivery percentage, it's the number of sales that were delivered on time divided by the total number of sales. For the scrap rate, it's the number of components scrapped divided by the total components that were supposed to be used. And finally, idle capacity is just the number of hours a machine is idle divided by the total available hours. These are your bread and butter for any performance analysis. And that brings us to one final crucial thought. The data is clear. PSEL is getting much, much better. They're becoming more effective externally and more efficient internally. But, and this is a big but, in the cutthroat world of motorsport engineering, just being better isn't always enough. The real million-dollar question is this: are they improving faster than their toughest competitors? Now that is the case for next time.